The Sonoran Desert is the second largest desert in North America, covering an area of 100,000 square miles. It covers Arizona, Southern California, and Sonora, Mexico, where it gets its name from. The Sonoran Desert is also the hottest and wettest desert in North America, and those two things kind of seem to go against each other, but it is the hottest, routinely exceeding temperatures of 105 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer times, which we can feel right now, and it is the wettest desert in North America, averaging about 5 to 15 inches annually. The Sonoran Desert has two rainy seasons, one in the summer and one in the winter. And it's this characteristic that helps give the Sonoran Desert such biodiversity, meaning there's a lot of life here. The Sonoran Desert is home to 2,000 native plant species and over 500 animal species. So not the lifeless environment you might think of when you hear the word desert, is it? But just because it is the wettest desert doesn't mean that water still isn't hard to come by. The Sonoran Desert is very dry and suffers long periods of drought. There are also very extreme temperature differences that make it really hard for organisms that live here to maintain a safe body temperature. So they have to have adaptations to help them survive here. And an adaptation is anything that helps an organism survive and reproduce successfully in its ecosystem. So the plants here have adapted ways to store water and conserve water so they can be drought resistant. For example, the saguaro cactus behind me, that is native to the Sonoran Desert and only grows here, has roots that grow only a few inches into the ground, so very shallow, but radiate out horizontally, sometimes as wide as the cactus is tall. And it does this so that it can cover a wide area and soak up water even from a light rain that doesn't go very deep down into the soil. So it is able to accumulate a lot of water, so it stores it, and it's able to survive some periods of drought. And you also may notice that a lot of plant life here in the Sonoran Desert isn't very friendly to the touch. The teddy bear cholla over here, it is soft and fuzzy in appearance, but you don't want to get too close to this guy. It's a very formidable species of cacti. As you can see, it's just covered in thousands of little sharp spines that are about an inch in length. And the really neat thing about the teddy bear cholla is that the stem is in segments. And if you get too close to this guy, maybe an animal walking by or a person, if you brush against it, it's very sensitive to the touch, and the spines will stick in and latch on really tight, and the segment will actually break off and stick to you. You can see there's a lot of segments on the ground here that have broken off, which is actually a really clever means of seed dispersal for the teddy bear cholla. When it does latch on to an animal or a human, that unfortunate creature will carry it off somewhere, and it'll eventually break off and drop and take root somewhere else so it can spread out its plants. You can see that a lot of plants here have spines, and this is a really great way to protect itself from predators, because they'll want to eat it and get at the water that's stored inside. So it is a great defense mechanism. And the really neat thing about the spines is that they're actually modified leaves. So most plants leaves will lose water through them, and it radiates out, but the spines protect this from happening. So it's very crucial for animals living, or plants in the Sonoran Desert, to conserve water and to be able to store it in order to survive. Now, there are actually a lot of animals that live here too, and they also have some really great adaptations for survival. One of the most simple of that being that they're nocturnal. Nocturnal meaning that they come out only at nighttime and they sleep during the day. And this is a great way to survive in the desert because they're avoiding the temperature and the heat from the sun during the day. And they come out at night, do their business then when it's cooler, so they're able to conserve that energy and that water. And you'll also see some burrows here in the ground. A lot of animals in the desert will use those burrows to keep cool during the day. Some reptiles, some squirrels, and it's a really great tactic to use. And also, you may not see a whole lot of animals out during the day because it is hot, but at night, the Sonoran Desert is teeming with wildlife: mule deer, javelinas, bobcats, coyotes. It's really great, it's full of life, and they all have these great adaptations that they have to survive in this extreme environment. And the really neat thing about the Sonoran Desert aren't just the plants and the animals, but the human history. The Sonoran Desert is rich in archaeological sites. It may be difficult to believe that people lived here before air conditioning, but about 2,000 years ago, a group of people that we call the Hohokam lived and survived here for 1,500 years. They built villages and even created vast canal systems to irrigate their crops. We can still visit and see those today. It's really quite amazing. And when you are out and about on the trail like this one, it's not uncommon to come across some petroglyphs like the ones up here. Petroglyphs are ancient rock carvings These were created by the Hohokam by pecking away at the dark outer layer of the rock to reveal the lighter layer underneath. And you'll usually see abstract geometric shapes like these ones up here that may be meant to symbolize something of importance to the Hohokam. You'll also see lizards, birds, even human figures. And we really are uncertain of what they mean exactly. There's some theories. They may have been meant to mark territory. They may have been ritualistic in purpose. We really don't know. We can only make our best guesses from archaeological evidence. But the really important thing to remember is that when you do see them or come across them, please just look and do not touch. It is great for you to observe them and to admire them for as long as you like, but when you do touch them, it does contribute to destroying them. So just like everything you see here in the Sonoran Desert, take only photos and leave only footprints.